The legend of the Knights Templar treasure is a story that has captivated historians and treasure hunters for centuries. It speaks of immense wealth, a fortune so vast it could destabilize kingdoms. This was not just gold and silver, but possibly religious artifacts of incredible significance. The Knights Templar, founded around 1119, were a Catholic military order. Their initial purpose was to protect Christian pilgrims on their journey to the Holy Land. King Baldwin II of Jerusalem granted them a headquarters on the Temple Mount. This location, the site of Solomon's Temple, gave them their name, the poor fellow soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon. For nearly 2 centuries, they were a dominant force in the Crusades. They were renowned for their discipline and martial prowess in battle. But their military role was matched, and perhaps surpassed, by their financial acumen. The Templars established one of the earliest international banking systems. A pilgrim could deposit assets in London and withdraw the equivalent funds in Jerusalem. This innovation made them the trusted financiers of European nobility and royalty. Their network of preceptories across Europe and the Holy Land grew vast and powerful. They accumulated enormous wealth through land grants, donations, and their financial activities. This immense, untaxed fortune eventually made them a target. King Philip IV of France, in particular, was deeply indebted to the order. The fall of Acre in 1291 marked the beginning of the end for the Templars' mission in the East. With the Holy Land lost, their primary military purpose was gone. Questions about their role and immense wealth began to circulate in the courts of Europe. Philip IV saw an opportunity to cancel his debts and seize their fortune. On Friday, October 13th, 1307, he made his move. In a coordinated, pre-dawn raid, all Templars in France were arrested. They were charged with heresy, blasphemy, and other fabricated crimes. The arrests were brutal and efficient, catching the powerful order completely by surprise. However, when the king's men raided the Paris temple, the order's main treasury, they found it nearly empty. The great treasure of the Knights Templar was gone. This is the moment the mystery truly begins. Legend says that wagons, loaded with treasure, were seen leaving the Paris temple just days before the raid. Another story tells of the Templar fleet, docked at La Rochelle, setting sail into the unknown. These ships, laden with the order's wealth, vanished from the pages of history. The captured knights were subjected to horrific torture by royal inquisitors. Many confessed to the false charges under duress. The order was officially disbanded by Pope Clement V in 1312. The last Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, was burned at the stake in 1314. As he died, he is said to have cursed both King Philip and Pope Clement. But the question of the treasure remained, fueling speculation for generations. One of the most popular theories is that the treasure was smuggled to Scotland. Scotland at the time was under excommunication and not beholden to the Pope's decree. King Robert the Bruce was at war with England and in desperate need of funds. Some historians suggest Templar knights fought alongside the Scots at the Battle of Bannockburn. The treasure could be hidden beneath Rosslyn Chapel, a building filled with mysterious carvings. Its ornate stonework includes depictions of corn and aloe, plants unknown in Europe at the time. This has led some to believe the Templars had traveled to the Americas before Columbus. Another compelling theory points to Switzerland. The founding of the Swiss Confederation in 1291 coincides with the Templars' decline. The famed Swiss banking secrecy may have its roots in Templar traditions. Perhaps the treasure became the foundation of the Swiss banking system. The modern-day mystery of Oak Island in Nova Scotia is also linked to the Templars. A deep, man-made pit known as the Money Pit, was discovered there in 1795. For over 2 centuries, treasure hunters have tried and failed to reach its bottom. The pit is protected by ingenious flood tunnels connected to the sea. Some believe it is the final resting place of the Templar treasure. Yet another theory suggests the treasure never left France. It could be hidden in plain sight, or buried in one of the thousands of Templar properties. Perhaps it was divided into smaller caches and hidden throughout the country. The treasure might not even be physical wealth. Some researchers propose it was knowledge. This could be secret knowledge of alchemy, sacred geometry, or even the bloodline of Christ. Such secrets would have been a greater threat to the church and crown than any amount of gold. This would explain the charge of heresy and the brutality of the suppression. The Templars may have been guardians of a truth the world was not ready for. The descendants of the Templars are thought to have formed other secret societies. The Freemasons, for example, share many symbols and rituals with the Templars. Perhaps the knowledge, if not the treasure, has passed down through these channels. The mystery endures because it is a perfect blend of history, conspiracy, and hope. It represents the ultimate lost fortune, waiting to be found. The story of the Templars is a cautionary tale about power and greed. An order created to protect the poor became richer than kings. Their wealth became their undoing, attracting the envy of a powerful monarch. The treasure hunt continues in archives and libraries around the world. New documents are occasionally discovered, shedding faint light on the mystery. The Chinon parchment, rediscovered in 2021, showed the Pope initially absolved the Templar leaders. This suggests the Pope was pressured by King Philip into destroying the order. It adds another layer of political intrigue to the Templar downfall. Modern technology has also been applied to the search. Ground-penetrating radar has been used at Rosslyn Chapel and other sites. So far, these searches have yielded no conclusive evidence of a hidden treasure. The sea also holds its secrets, with many unexplored shipwrecks from the period. Could the Templar fleet be lying at the bottom of the Atlantic? The story has inspired countless books, films, and video games. It taps into a deep human desire for adventure and discovery. The lost treasure is a symbol of the ultimate unsolved puzzle. Perhaps the treasure was never a single, consolidated fortune. It may have been an abstract concept, the wealth and power of the order itself. When the order was destroyed, the treasure simply ceased to exist. This is a less romantic, but perhaps more realistic, conclusion. But the legend is more powerful than the mundane reality. It continues to inspire quests for gold, artifacts, and forbidden knowledge. The secret of the Templars remains one of history's most enduring and fascinating mysteries. The order was born in the Holy Land to protect the faithful. They built a financial empire that was the envy of Europe. Their success was built on trust and a reputation for piety. They created a multinational corporation protected by the sign of the cross. Their temples were not just churches, but fortified banks. They held the crown jewels of several nations in their vaults. This concentration of power made them seem untouchable. But no institution is immune to the winds of political change. The loss of their holy mission left them vulnerable. They became a bank without a clear purpose, a target for the greedy. The trials were a sham, orchestrated to achieve a predetermined outcome. The Knights' confessions, extracted by pain, tell us nothing of the truth. The real secret died with Jacques de Molay in the flames. Or perhaps it was carried away on a ship bound for a new world. Maybe it lies buried in the Scottish soil, waiting for the worthy. It could be encoded in the quiet, neutral vaults of Switzerland. It might be a spiritual treasure, not a material one. The treasure could be the ideal of a united, faithful Europe. God. An ideal that was shattered by nationalistic greed. The Templars were guardians of the roads for pilgrims. They became guardians of wealth for the powerful. Their white mantles were meant to symbolize purity. The Red Cross represented the blood of martyrdom. In the end, their symbols were dragged through the mud. The story haunts us because it feels unfinished. A great fortune vanished without a trace. A powerful organization was annihilated overnight. The treasure's hiding place remains the ultimate secret. It could be hidden in a place no one would ever think to look. Perhaps under a busy street in a modern city. The mystery is a labyrinth with no center. Every clue leads only to more questions. The search for the Templar treasure is a search for meaning in their dramatic fall. It is a story of faith, power, betrayal, and enduring mystery. The treasure's true location may be lost to time forever. But the legend itself has become a treasure of our collective imagination. The Templar fleet at La Rochelle was a formidable sight. 17 ships, a private navy for a private bank. Their disappearance is one of the most compelling parts of the legend. Did they sail to Scotland, Portugal, or a land yet unknown? The Portuguese Order of Christ was a direct successor to the Templars. They financed the great age of Portuguese exploration. Perhaps the Templar treasure was not hidden, but invested in discovery. This theory transforms the treasure from a buried hoard into a catalyst for the future. The wealth was not buried, but sown to change the world. It's a more hopeful and proactive interpretation of the mystery. It suggests the Templar legacy is not in a vault, but in the very fabric of our global history. The mystery, therefore, may not be where the treasure is, but what it became. A fortune in gold and silver is finite and cold. The financing of new trade routes and discoveries is a living legacy. So while some dig in the cold earth of Nova Scotia, others look to the expansive sea. The treasure of the Templars might be all around us, hidden in plain sight,